So a little over a month ago, if you were a Golden State Warriors fan, your outlook for this season was not that great. Team was really struggling. They were the 10th seed in the Western Conference. All of a sudden, you trade for Jimmy Butler, and you're right back in the thick of things for the NBA title.
We always think they're dead, and then they come back to life, like 2021.
They're like a damn cockroach.
Right, they come back, they win the title in 2022. It felt like they were over after the Jordan Poole-Draymond thing, and now they got Jimmy, and they're a contender again.
Before we start talking about the Warriors, if you haven't already, make sure to leave this video a like, give us a subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on one of our videos. So we said it in the video we made about the trade deadline, like Jimmy Butler was supposed to be the big star who got traded this deadline. Obviously the Luka trade just overshadowed everything. But when the Warriors acquired Jimmy a couple days later, it was probably the second biggest move of the deadline. Like, all respect to De'Aaron Fox, but Jimmy getting acquired by Golden State was the bigger trade. And like I said in the intro, the Warriors were just hanging on by a thread when they traded for Jimmy. 25 and 26, 10th seed in the Western Conference. Their offense was moribund when Steph was off the floor. And even though Steph and Steve Kerr were saying like, hey, let's not make a panic trade, right? Pressure was mounting on that organization from their fan base to maximize the last couple years they had with Steph Curry.
I mean, you had that prediction the Warriors would finish under 40 wins. And to be honest, for a second there, it was cooking. Like, it was looking good.
It started off shaky, then started looking real good.
Yeah.
Now it's back to not happening anymore. Although I think I got an out for that, right?
Okay, yeah. In our New Year's resolutions video, we both said like they needed to make a trade to maximize what they had left with Steph. We even made a video talking about the Jimmy situation, saying like the Warriors made the most sense as a fit for him. KD was floating around for a bit, but apparently KD didn't want to go back. And then Jimmy was talked about a couple days before the trade, and that got shut down. Like, apparently they weren't going to get Jimmy. And then out of nowhere, with all the chaos, they do end up getting Jimmy. We both like the trade from the Warriors perspective. Like, it was a risk worth taking. You didn't really give up a ton to get him. You signed him to that extension, so you got some commitment. He's going to be there for the next couple of years. A lot of money, but overall, like, they needed to make a move, and Jimmy was basically the best low risk, high reward player there was available.
Yeah, I mean, we both liked it, but that being said, like, we thought the Warriors upgraded, but we were still like skeptical of how far they could go in the playoffs. But a month later, they're up to 37 and 28. They're the 6th seed in the West. They've put themselves out of the play-in tournament for now. They still have Minnesota and the Clippers right on their heels. And they're a remarkable 12 and 1 in games Jimmy has played. He just logged his first Warriors triple-double against the Blazers. Weirdly enough, the only game they've lost with Jimmy was against the Mavericks in Dallas. And I mean, I guess they play Sacramento before this video goes live, but we're assuming they get that one. And I mean, those 12 wins at Milwaukee, at Houston, Dallas at home, at New York, Detroit, like pretty solid wins in there. Not a murderer's row by any means, but a couple good wins, some by double digits even.
I mean, the fact that they're playing this well after how bad they were playing, like, as a Warriors fan, you just have to be happy. And it's a long shot, but they could still catch the Rockets, the Grizzlies, the Lakers, the Nuggets, maybe get home court. Again, it's a little bit of a long shot. We're talking like a 4-game difference, but with the way they're playing, LeBron being injured, it's definitely possible. Could this trade have gone any better? I guess they could be undefeated with Jimmy,
yes.
But like, realistically, this trade could not have gone any better. There was that nothing burger of a controversy with Jimmy taking that shot. I mean, we're Blazers fans,
and we didn't care.
Yeah, we didn't give a shit. Like, dumbest unwritten rule in the NBA. If the shot clock is on, you can take the shot.
Exactly. Yes.
If the shot clock's off, don't take it. That's disrespectful. But like, really?
So like, what's gone so right for Jimmy and the Warriors? Well, first of all, Jimmy's got that reputation that like he can be a little bit difficult to deal with. Like, it's one of the reasons, candidly, why Miami didn't get more for him. And we've all heard the stories of his time in Chicago, in Philly, in Miami, and most famously in Minnesota, where he, walks into a scrimmage and wins it with like the third stringers against all the starters and then like starts cursing everybody out, right? We've all heard Jeff Teague tell the stories, right? Like, when he's unhappy, he can lash out and he can make life incredibly difficult for the organization. There was even some reporting from Kevin O'Connor where he said both Steph and Steve Kerr were a little bit concerned about potentially bringing bringing Jimmy in because of like disrupting chemistry. But there's a flip side to all that. When Jimmy is engaged, when he's focused, he's one of the most valuable stars in the entire NBA. Like, it's a term that gets thrown around a lot, but he's like the textbook definition of a winning player. Like, look where the Warriors were before he got there. Started the season well, but they were just treading water. They tried to fix it with Dennis Schroeder. That didn't work, but they bring in Jimmy, and his offensive numbers aren't amazing by any means. It's like 17, 5 and 5. Good, but not unbelievable. But his just overall impact on the Warriors as a whole, remarkable.
I mean, that's always been Jimmy. You've never looked at like the season numbers and been like, holy shit, this dude's incredible, but his impact's undeniable. They have the 5th best offensive rating in the NBA since the trade. The Warriors are plus 11.3 points per 100 possessions when Jimmy's on the court. And he's been a fantastic fit because he fills kind of the same role as Kevin Durant. Now, he's not the scorer KD was, he's not the shooter KD was, but Jimmy doesn't need to dominate the ball. I mean, he can have the ball in his hands, he can set up other players for sure, but he doesn't have the entire offense revolve around him. He doesn't have his own scheme. He can move without the ball, he can make smart cuts, high IQ basketball player, set screens, doesn't turn the ball over a lot. Like, he picks his spots on the court, and he can kind of just like slow down and control the offense in the half court, and it's helped set up dudes like Moses Moody, Podziemski, and then like Steph when he plays off ball, when the Warriors in the past had nothing. Like, if Steph wasn't on the court, no one could score, and the ball wasn't moving, it was just a straight up disaster.
I mean, Jimmy kind of put it pretty well himself when he said, honestly, in the most humble way possible, I'm a good fit everywhere. And on the court, he's right. Like,
yeah, on the court,
he's a fit. Gotta mention that, right? He's a fantastic fit with basically every team. And like, he's diversifying the Warriors offense. He's attacking the rim. He's getting to the free throw line. They've gone from what, like 26th in the NBA in free throws attempted before he got there. Now they're up to like 14th or something. It's remarkable what he's done for them on the offensive end. On the defensive end, it's been just as impressive. Like, I was a little worried about the fit with Draymond, not because I thought they couldn't make it work. I just figured, you know, two strong personalities, I thought there was potential to clash, but it's been a match made in heaven. And we've heard the reports that like Draymond was looking for like another like strong-willed competitor, you know, who's gonna go like all out on defense and whatnot. That's what Jimmy is. He's not only one of the smartest defensive players in the NBA, he's not only one of the smartest defenders in the NBA, he like gives as much effort as anybody, even at age 35. And like, you can see how he inspires his teammates. Like, his teammates have talked about seeing Jimmy on the defensive end and wanting to play hard because he's playing that hard. Like, he's always in the right spot. He's in passing lanes. He can wreak havoc on another team. He's just lifting up that entire team on both ends of the floor. If you don't believe me, like, look at this chart of Steph's estimated plus minus from this entire season. Like, it's kind of going down towards the start of February, and then they trade for Jimmy, and it's just like fucking blast off, right?
Looking like the S&P 500 before and after COVID, like, shit went down and then just shot up. I mean, yeah, that's what Steph has needed this entire time, and really, he hasn't had a guy that's been able to create his own shot on a consistent basis since like Jordan Poole, if you count him on the title team. Before then, it's basically KD. Like, Steph's so good off ball, but like, if you have no one else that can create, like, the entire defense is just gonna focus on Steph. Now they gotta respect Jimmy because he can score, he can get to the line, and he can create. So now we gotta talk about, how do the Warriors stack up with the rest of the West? I mean, OKC, they're on their own tier. Like,
yeah, exactly.
We're not gonna be the talking heads and say like, oh, the Warriors, you know, they got the experience.
ABC, UFC, KFC, Warriors in 5. Right. I know it's a Lakers in 5 thing.
But you get the point.
Remixed it.
We're not doing that. OKC is at the top. After that, in the West, I kind of see it as like tier 2 contenders. I put the Nuggets in that category. I still put the Nuggets a little bit ahead of the Warriors and Lakers, but same category. And then, yeah, you have the Lakers, maybe Grizzlies if you want to throw them in there, but no one would be shocked at this point, especially after 2022. If the Warriors come out the West, I really wouldn't be that shocked.
Yeah, I mean, Memphis and Houston, like, no disrespect to them. They've both had great years, but I'd like the Warriors' chances against them. Minnesota could be a fun wild card. I mean, they've actually put together a 5-game winning streak at the time of this recording, and they've actually won their last 10 that Julius Randle has played in. So maybe they're finally figuring out how to use him. But again, I still would like Golden State in that series. The matchup with the Lakers is definitely the most intriguing one. At the time of this recording, like, if the season ended today, day, it would be the 3-6 matchup. And of course, it's always a treat when LeBron and Steph match up in the playoffs. We got it 2 years ago. It was phenomenal. And now you got a completely new spin on it if it happens again. Like, you got LeBron and Steph going against each other. Obviously, that's going to sell tickets. But now you got the sidekicks on both sides. You got Luka with LeBron on the Lakers, and now you got Jimmy with Steph on the Warriors. Obviously, never going to complain if we get Steph and LeBron going against each other in the playoffs. You know the NBA is rooting for that to happen.
Oh, yeah. Adam Silver is going to be moving heaven and earth to line this up to make it happen.
Even if we don't get it, though, I'd love to see the Warriors go against Jokic and friends against. Hell, I'd love to see them play against Memphis again. Like, lest we forget, they had a pretty entertaining series with Memphis back in 2021 when Memphis was kind of reestablishing themselves with Ja and whatnot. So just a lot of potential for great playoff basketball. And like I said earlier, like, I don't care how good your team is. If you're in the playoffs and Jimmy Butler's on the other team, I'm not going to sleep well the night before the game. That's the video, guys. How far do you think Golden State can go this year? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving it a like, as it really does help us out. And while you're here, why not check out some of our other videos as well? And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.